writes it down? CyberX. Who owns the crown? CyberX. Who guards the code? CyberX. Say it loud. CyberX. 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 The ethical hacking services. CyberX. The ethical hacking services. Lock it down, lock it tight, keep the system in the fight. CyberX. The ethical hacking services. We break the gaps before the night. CyberX.
Hello everyone, my name is David Silva, I'm the founder CEO of CyberX, and today I'm here with Thomas Mitchell for another CyberX Live. But first, I'd like to say thank you so much for your presence here. Wherever you're watching, from the US, from Portugal, Middle East, it's so good to see you here. And if you're curious about cybersecurity but don't know where to start, just pull up a chair because today we're going to talk about exactly that. What the field really is, what actually matters when you're starting, and the concepts that separates people who make it from people who gave up. And we have the perfect person for that conversation. So I'm here today with Thomas Mitchell, is a cybersecurity engineer. Thank you, Thomas, for your presence here.
Thank you. Yes,
Yeah,
really. Thank you, David. I appreciate it.
yeah. So just a little bit of overview about Thomas. He has a great experience. So he's a cybersecurity engineer with 9 years of experience, leading enterprise vulnerability management programs. He's also adjunct professor at cybersecurity at North Virginia Community College. He also has a CISP certification, master's in cybersecurity, and a lot of credentials. But here's what I really want to hear. He really started a community college, and today he briefs CISOs and boards. So, Thomas, welcome. Yeah, thank you for your participation.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate it, David. Thank you for the opportunity, the buddy.
Yeah, thank you so much. So also, if you have our guests, if you have any questions already, just send the messages here on the chat, and we're going to answer all of your questions at the end of the live. So we're gonna have like a 15 minutes Q&A. So let's start with your story, Thomas. So take us back to the beginning. So how did a kid at North Virginia College end up in cybersecurity?
So thank you. I appreciate the question. And it's very nice to meet everybody, by the way. So I actually started in IT because, information technology was very lucrative, going about close to 14, 15 years ago, right? And what got me into cybersecurity, okay? And yeah, please send me the questions. It'll be wonderful. What got me into cybersecurity is I was out with my friends, and unfortunately, my car got broken into. Right? I know I hit that. I know I hit the beeper. I know I did. And so, called the police and what have you. And then, the beeper. The police guy said, "Oh, it's a repeater." And I said, "A repeater? What is that?" So anyways, I go back to my college, okay, which is Northern Virginia Community College, and one of a really great professor that I had, which is the name of Professor Pearson. And he said, yeah, they could do that. I was like, what? So that right there blew my mind. The fact that somebody could repeat the signal to open up somebody's car. And so he's like, you know what, since you're so interested, we have this new program that's called information security, And now it's a nice and sexy word of the cybersecurity. But I was pretty much the first cohort there at North Virginia Community College, and it was really neat. I had a really good experience, um, and the classes were wonderful. Everything was starting out right, so I remember having Windows XP and me hacking Windows XP, which is really cool. And then I said, you know what? We don't have any of these events. We don't have anything for the cybersecurity students because we just had a small get together club. So I essentially organized the first hackathon at Northern Virginia Community College called the Nova Hackathon or Innovation Hackathon. So that was right around when MedStar in Washington, D.C. got hacked, and they were held up by something called ransomware. And so that was really big. So we had the governor involved, we had Senator Warner involved of the state of Virginia in the United States, and we had a bunch of companies. We raised 20-some $1,000, gave scholarships and helped other individuals that couldn't quite afford their labs or their books or continue their education in cybersecurity. We help them out so we can get plenty of individuals in cyber like you and I, David. And we even had a lot of folks that got hired. So that right there really did inspire me because I was like, oh my God, this is so cool. I thought I was the only one, kind of like messing around and everything, but it was like we actually had a community. So, which is really neat. Should I continue or would you like to?
No, it's good. Yeah, I just have one more question because I really love it, and I noticed everyone. So we start a community college. Now it works for global institutions, enterprise leadership, professor. So that path is open, right? And that brings to the obvious question: is still a good time to enter this field? So if you want to talk about it.
So are you talking to get into cybersecurity?
Yeah, it's cybersecurity
Okay.
field.
Yeah, no,
Everybody's asked
we
that.
we
Is this a good time?
yes, yeah, of course, yeah. I mean, even like for example, where I started, which was just a small community college. Like I said, I started that event. It really put me on the map with the other individuals that were with me, and we eventually went to George Washington University, located in Washington D.C., under their cybersecurity program. And then a buddy of mine, and that's why I always tell people, okay, is yes, we like to be, having the screens in front of our face, but we need to be social. And that's what I tell my students, okay? We needed to be social and we need to gain rapport with people because I had a friend, a good buddy of mine who I still know, and actually I work with, which is ironic. I went to school with him, now I work with him, now he's gonna deal with me for. But anyways, he said that I had this recruiter, and the recruiter's looking for. I said, "Oh my God, can introduce me." So, anyways, her name was Felicia. I remember that, and met with her and got hired on the place that I'm in now, which is almost 10 years later. But I've always been interested in of giving back to the cyber community. One way I really have worked hard to give back is the working for the community college and giving courses. So your question is, it's now a good time to enter the field? And in my opinion, now is the best time to enter the field, okay? Because you have a field now that is becoming more and more prevalent. You see a lot of things in the news. Not only is it being the one individual in somebody's basement hacking, that's not the case anymore. We are dealing with defending against pulses of electricity and pulses of light. What am I referring to? I'm referring to the AI threat. And somebody that doesn't necessarily have to do a lot of research in these vulnerabilities, and they just have it just like that. Oh, tell me how to exploit this vulnerability. Oh yeah, of course. No, 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 no. So it will tell somebody quickly. And so that's pretty much what we're up against, and that's why we need individuals like the individuals on the call, right, on the live, to step up and to help us defend. And this is not just in the United States. This is Mexico, the country of Mexico, just got hit, I think about 6 months ago. They got gigabytes and gigabytes of like personal Mexican data that was exfiltrated. So this is not just the United States, it's Europe, it's Central America, North America, Central America, South America, Asia, your Middle East. A lot of the infrastructure in the Middle East, David, in terms of your SCADA systems, they need to be protected. I mean, what if somebody were to shut down some of those pipelines? It would be detrimental to the world economy. So,
Yeah.
so yeah.
Yeah, totally agree with you. And last month I gave a keynote speak in Italy, and it was exactly about it. People using AI to weaponize social engineering. And the attack landscape is evolving really fast, and which means that we need people to follow that. We need people to protect us and to defend against this kind of cyber attacks, right? Yeah, and of course, we have a massive demand. We open doors, and of course, you don't need to be a genius, as you said. You must be social, and you have this desire to learn different kind of things, because in cybersecurity, we have to learn every day. We have different kind of attacks, different kind of techniques, and new vulnerabilities. So you must be a person that likes to learn different things every day. So that's exactly what we're doing also now. Thomas, I know that you prepare some slides. This is also part where you take notes, people. So be aware about it. So, Thomas, if you want to share something, please.
Yeah, I do. I just really quickly, just to piggyback on what you're saying, in terms of reading, in terms of doing research, in terms of learning, what I suggest, I mean, cybersecurity is such a large umbrella that it is best, in my opinion, it is best to take a look at what you're interested in the most. Do you want to play defense? Do you want to play offense? Are you interested in pen testing? Are you interested in compliance with like controls? Do you like to not have to deal with clients? You want to be like me, where I am like internal to the community. I mean, sorry, the internal to the company. Or do you want to be somebody that gets on calls with clients and talk about this new and improved cybersecurity tool, for example, which exists, right? So I think that cybersecurity is so big that even regardless of your personality, introvert, extrovert, what have you, that you'll be perfect. But yeah, let me get this up and running. Give me a quick second, folks.
Yeah, just to add here that in CyberX we invest in education a lot, especially in cybersecurity certifications. That's why also Thomas is a instructor for CompTIA Security Plus. So he's bringing a lot of knowledge for you guys. So be prepared. So
Let's see here. Can you see the entire presentation? Just making sure, David.
not yet. Can you please share it?
Okay, yeah, give me a quick moment. I thought I did. I'm sorry, folks.
Don't worry.
What about now?
Yeah, let me put on the screen. Yeah, we can see it.
Yay, good.
Yeah. So what you brought today here, Thomas?
So I brought a little bit of an overview, right, of different concepts and what have you that I believe a beginner should master, or at least be, somewhat familiar. And when we talk about cybersecurity, we're talking about the protection, right? And somebody were to go to a database, that they could trust the data. Can they go to the database, right? So you see the three letters there, CIA, confidentiality, integrity, availability. That is essentially your bread and butter when it comes to cybersecurity. That is something that I discuss every single day, okay, as a cybersecurity engineer with my team. Is it available, right? Has the data been modified for integrity? And did we send, or did the employee, or did whomever send data encrypted, which is your confidentiality, right? And making sure that only the folks that should be able to read that data are able to read it, and nobody else, right? So when we talk about cybersecurity in a nutshell, we are talking about these three pillars, okay? And so, oh, did you want to ask a question, David? Excuse me.
Not yet, Thomas. I'm still also learning also from you. Thanks.
Okay. And so, other than the CIA triad or the CIA foundation that like I said, discuss it every single day with my team, okay, there is also another concept in cybersecurity that I want to make sure that you're aware of, and it's a concept called defense in depth, okay? So if you picture in your mind, okay, an onion, and the data is in the middle of that onion, and as you know, with an onion, you could peel it, okay? And so what we do in cybersecurity is we essentially layer up your defenses, okay? And I'll give you some examples, like a physical type of defense, and that is your fence, okay, around a building that is locked doors and windows. If you were to get inside, or somebody broke inside those two layers, what about the door with the badge reader, right? So again, there are different layers there. And so, in cybersecurity, it's not just, oh, you go and set it and that's it. No, there is the concept of your defense in depth, which essentially is, the data that employees work with, that the government needs to secure, etc. And that is in the middle, and it's in the middle of different layers. Following layers, meaning your application, your endpoint security, on the device itself, right? Like my laptop on right now, cell phone that I'm on right now, your network, right? Are we segmentating? You're segmenting, excuse me, your network, and ensuring that only certain people have access to certain things, right? So that's really important also. And then last but not least is your perimeter, right? Is, can anybody just attach to the network? Are there restrictions, okay? And that could be also considered physical. So, going back to the CIA triad, yeah, we need to make sure this one, excuse me, that one, we need to make sure that our data is secure, that we could trust it, and that it's available. This concept, it is in regards of how would we, in different layers, protect it, because, we all know this as folks that have messed around with IT, and sometimes, technology fails, and if one layer fails, we need the second, right? And so, like I said right there, your professionals ask, what catches it when a layer fails, right? And we consider that as what they call compensating controls, okay? And if one of the control measure or setting or encryption version, etc., if that fails, there should be something else that kicks in to help protect that data.
Yeah, and
Um,
Thomas, sorry to interrupt. And as a pen
you don't do
tester,
it.
I can as a pen tester, also can I confirm that we almost never break into one catastrophic hole. We chain small weaknesses, a weak password here, unpatched server, when the employee clicks on the link. So defense in depth exists because attackers chain. So that's is important also. So
Oh yeah,
every
it's all about
layer
your
that you
weakest
add
link, right?
breaks the chain, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, your weakest link.
Yeah.
And your authentication, your authorization, your least privilege. So it's like, okay, when I log into my laptop, right, I am telling it who I am, right? I use either government credentials or company credentials or what have you, but that is me, right? Just like when you log into your device, be it your Windows device, your Mac OS device, your Linux, which I'm a big fan of Linux. I like Linux. You when you log in, you provide the credentials, and that is your account. Okay. The authorization factor of that, right, is what is Thomas able to do? Okay, are you able to install things at an administrator permission? And that's one of the large like attack surfaces. Okay, meaning that's something that somebody could take a look at and try to take advantage of certain weaknesses. So with the authorization, if I didn't have local admin and then somebody else did, let's pretend that John had local admin, and then John was sent an email, and John, oh my God, I thought this was Microsoft. He clicked on the link, right? It starts downloading something. In part of the instructions, he needs to click and essentially run that executable or what have you that's been downloaded. And since he is local admin, it runs at an elevated privilege. So that's one of the largest in terms of your authorization. That's right there is a huge risk. Um, and that's why, for example, when we talk about login, is your MFA, which is your multi-factor authentication. And when I log into said laptop, government, private, what have you, part of what the what in cybersecurity is that you learn that you need to have backups and what they call redundancy. In this case, we have two different factors, right? Two different things that it needs to check in order for you to successfully log in. So it's what like the password that you log in with, what you have, your what do you call this? Your cell phone, or something that you are, which is like one of the most prevalent right now, which is your fingerprint, right? And so a combination of that actually protects the authentication and the authorization aspect, right? Now, if that were to fail, okay, we have least privilege, which essentially says, Thomas or David, you're only able to do what you need to do in order to complete your work, right, for your company or the government or what have you in terms of cybersecurity. And that's actually very important because if I didn't need to install things and you did, David, right, uh, I should not have the ability to install. You should not be giving these permissions willy-nilly. So, again, in that layered approach, right, we have multiple layers there when it comes to protecting, the identity of an employee. And that's another part of your, part of your bread and butter when it comes to cybersecurity.
Yeah, and I'd like also to bring some curiosities here, Thomas. I don't know if you know, but for example, in the US, how do you withdraw money from the ATM? You just type your PIN, right? Your 4-digit or 6-digit PIN.
Yeah, you have to put your debit card in, and then yeah,
Uh-huh.
you have to type in your PIN. That's correct.
Yeah, it's similar to Portugal, but in Brazil, it's pretty different. In Brazil, you put your card, you type your 6-digit PIN, sometimes is a 8-digit PIN. Then you have to put your fingerprints. Some banks you put your palm, and then you also have alphanumeric code. So it's a lot of steps to withdraw money from the ATM. So it's something you know, something you have, something you are, all of them together at the same time.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I didn't realize that about Brazil. That's pretty neat.
Yeah, yeah. Brazil have a lot of fraud, banking fraud. So I think that's why, in terms of cybersecurity and this kind of things, we are like years ahead of some countries. That's my opinion.
Mm,
For example, in Portugal, it's just 4-digit PIN and that's it. And like the US.
yep.
But it's just curiosity for you.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Did we have any questions, by the way? I can't see the screen right now.
Yeah, we have one question
Oh,
here
good.
from Mateus, but let's do that on the end, please.
Okay. Yeah.
So if
Okay.
you have
So,
questions, just type it here. We're gonna answer that during after the live, please.
okay, cool. Okay. So, another concept that is your bread and butter in terms of cybersecurity is your social engineering, okay, which is scams and fake emails that are called phishing emails, and like I was telling you all earlier about the guy that has the local administrator account sent that email that looked like it came from Microsoft, but it did not, right? So when it comes to exploiting, or if you don't know the concept, it's called taking advantage of the vulnerable humans. There we go. And they do it utilizing psychology, like with urgency, okay, authority, right, fear and curiosity. So it's like, for example, the curiosity, going to a we've seen this, going to an event and somebody dropping USB thumb drives in the parking lot, okay. What's wild, David, is how many people actually plug it in, okay. The authority aspect, oh, I'm your manager, I'm in a meeting right now, I need your credentials because I can't log in. There has been people that has fallen to that. And so social engineering in a nutshell is taking advantage of the humans in general. And one way you have to go around that, okay, is use your education. So, your team, depending on where you're at in terms of cybersecurity, but in terms of where I'm at, my team, we do a briefing every Monday, and we brief the new employees about, okay, this is what you're gonna expect. Okay, we're gonna give you the lay of the land, and that's called user education. That's really important because the more the workforce understands, the more they're educated into. Oh, nope, not gonna click that link. That's not my manager. I know he's not saying that he needs my password. He would never do that. Or if you think it is, I will call him, right, for confirmation. So at the end of the day, this is something, part of that weak link, David, that we were discussing, right? That's like, okay, you have the best and the brightest. You spend a lot of money with the different services and different companies that come in and they assess your servers and your laptops or your endpoints, and they say, oh my God, you have a triple A and yada yada yada. But then it always comes down to the one person, right?
Yeah,
So
and the mindset we always teach is that you have to stop thinking like, does it look fake, and you start doing the right question. Was I expecting that? That right?
mhm.
So you receive an email that you're not expecting. So why you're going to provide your credentials, or why you're going to open that? So you have like Microsoft Defender, you have a lot of email protections. Sometimes they go directly into your spam folder. Why you're going to the spam folder and open it? You know, that's the main question. Why you're going to doing that?
Curiosity.
Yeah, yeah. You don't receive a lot of money. You don't like. There's a lot of possibilities, but don't open those emails.
It was back in the day. It was the African prince of giving you, you
Oh
gotta
yeah.
send me money, right? And then I promise you, I'll give you your money back. A lot of people actually fell for that.
Yeah, there's another one, a famous one, that they send a mail saying that they're dying and they need to transfer their money to somebody, or otherwise they're going to donate the money to charity. So I don't know. It's really fun. When it involves money, people really get greed about it and they think it's real, and you know.
Oh yeah,
So
they'll
that's
start they'll
all
start
comes
moving.
about comes around in education. So we must educate people.
Yeah, that's right. Yep, user education. And then your risk thinking, right? So like for example, security is not only about limiting risk, it's about managing it. So like I said, I came from the community college and now I'm running the vulnerability management program at the company that I'm working at. And I've come a long way, and that's really cool, right? And now that I'm in the position I'm at in terms of the vulnerability management program, you always have to think about risk, right? One of the largest risks right now is your AI pen testing, etc. tools, and so you essentially have to prioritize, okay? And we, uh, in general, have had a large reduction in vulnerabilities. That being which, we focused on what we are vulnerable to, and are we really vulnerable? Because just because you have a vulnerability doesn't necessarily mean you are 100% vulnerable. There could be a lot of different steps that the individual needs to take in order for them to have a successful exploitation of whatever, right? They got to be, could be over the network. It could be like I'm on my laptop now, okay, or like a remote over the network, like I said, or physically plugging something in or doing something on said laptop. So, you at the end of the day, you can't prevent everything, and so you as a future cybersecurity professional, you need to weigh risk. Okay, what would happen if this server goes down? All right. What about this server? Is it internet facing? So there is a lot of different questions that one needs to ask. Um, and if you go to the CISA, which is under the federal government of the United States, they have essentially posted how they believe we should start weighing these vulnerabilities, because the amount of vulnerabilities that we've had and risk has skyrocketed. So we just have to have a way in which we sift through it and identify what actually matters the most. So
Yeah, thank you, Thomas. That's really true because like CEOs don't want to see CV numbers; they want to see risk. What's matter for the company? What's the cost of fixing that vulnerability? What hurts the business? How likely? Like we must also learn how to speak risk for them. When you bring a lot of vulnerabilities for them, okay, what's the risk of that? I'm going to lose money. What I'm gonna do? Which vulnerability prioritize first? That's also what we do at CyberX when you deliver a report for them, and also the platform they have access. They see which vulnerability they have to fix first. What's the risk? that comes with that vulnerability. So it doesn't matter if you have like a SQL injection, but you need some credentials or you need some specific conditions to exploit that vulnerability. What's the point of that? Sometimes you have like a high severity vulnerability that you don't need credentials to exploit. The risk is really high compared to the SQL injection, for example. So it also comes around the exploitability. So, you know, that's good, Thomas. Now, imagine someone that really wants to start in cybersecurity. They know now about defense depth, identity list privilege, social engineering, risk thinking. What do we recommend for people they can actually do starting tonight?
Okay, yeah, sounds good. What I would do is, you have to start things in baby steps, right? And what I would do if the individual listening to me right now, if I were you, right, and this is what I tell my students, is they need to figure out what they're interested in the most and under the umbrella of cybersecurity, and that's really interesting. That's really simple. And then the second step is you need to not only have that interest in that area, but also take a look at a lot of the certificates, right? Because if you want to do work for clients, they need to see that you have been tested against certain questions and certain criteria, right? They're not just going to hire somebody willy nilly. They need proof that you know what you're doing, because they need help, obviously. So I would do, if I were them, I would do a little bit of research on the first step, which is your Security Plus. That's what I started with, my Security Plus, and they have a bunch of domains that they should comb through, or that you should comb through. I should talk to them, and figure out your what you understand. Cross that out, because that's not part of what learning is. Learning is learning about things that you don't understand and you don't know, right? So yeah, cross the ones that you know that you're familiar with, and then take a look at the ones that you do, and then after a while in your career, then you could then go and receive your CISSP from ISC squared, excuse me, and that's like the next level of your career. But for their first step, it's the Security Plus.
Yeah, totally agree with you. Security Plus is the best certification to start in the field. As you said, there's a lot of domains in that certification. You're gonna learn about all the cybersecurity umbrella, for example, blue team, red team, purple team, governance, a lot of things, and you can see which one you can follow. And also, there's some other certifications, but I think Security Plus to start is a really good path. And another point, and a curiosity, do you know that in Brazil we invest a lot of cybersecurity certifications? HR people knows about it. They know which certification they're going to put on the description of the opportunity. But for example, in Portugal, I noticed sometimes they don't ask for certifications, and when they ask for some certifications that a junior analyst or junior pen tester cannot afford. As for example, SCP is really expensive, almost 3,000 euros, $3,000. Sorry. How are we gonna hire a junior just left school and they want our SCP certification for them, right?
So what was the question? I couldn't hear you there, buddy.
For example, when you're just finishing school and they're applying for some opportunity to work inside a company. And what I noticed here is that some companies are already asking for SCP certification. But how people are going to afford that if they don't have money? They just left school, you know?
Oh, good question. Yeah. So actually, what's funny? I didn't pay for my CSSP. The company that I serve under, they paid it for me. that's essentially the route that I would go if I were them. Because the thing is, if you're talking about 3,000 euros or similar to dollars,
Yeah. Hmm.
that's a lot of money, right, for somebody that's just starting out. Fun fact about me, the Security Plus, I had to come up with a little payment plan with my mom, paying her every month so that she could pay the Security Plus for me because I didn't have the money. I just left school. So, there's plenty of opportunity out there where they could start in a internship, right? And then the once the company has validated and that they feel comfortable with the individual and that said individual fits really well with the team, then the company would then invest in the employee, right? Because they want growth, they want them to grow, and then what they will do is they will sponsor you and they will pay for your certs.
Yeah, this is another good point also, because nowadays what I see is people get admitted in one company, after 4 months or 6 months jumps to another one, and then jumps to another one. So how company is going to trust you if you don't stay there for like at least 1 year or 2 years? They're not going to invest you if you do like this. Of course, you have to be like available. I really want to do OSCP. I want to do CompTIA Security Plus. But at the end, all the money already come back for you, right, Thomas? You do the monthly payment with your mom, but now, you can do any certification that you want.
Yeah, so for me, David, I believe in a concept called loyalty, right? And I think that the individual in the team, if they want to take a piece of advice from me, don't be jumping around. Okay, and I'll tell
Yeah,
you why. Uh the companies will start to notice and nobody's gonna want to hire you. I mean, why would they want to hire you if you're only gonna be there for 6 months to a year? Excuse me. I've been there close to 10 years now, and they have treated me very well. I know that, there are other opportunities that pay a lot more and what have you. But at the end of the day, if you're in a good team and you like the individuals you work with and they treat you really good, like sponsoring you to get these certs, I think that you should be a little bit more loyal to those companies, help them out because they took a chance and they invested in you.
yeah, totally agree. And now, because companies really want to invest in people, but people that are really committed to them. So, you know, so Thomas, let's jump to the last part of our live. We have a few questions here, and if you don't have a question until the end, just send here. We're gonna answer that. So let me get the first one here. We have just a comment from Mateus. Great talk. I'm studying for the CompTIA Security Plus right now. Will help me a lot. Thanks, CyberX and Thomas. Thank you, Mateus.
Yay!
Yeah, thank
I
you
like that.
for,
Good. Nice to meet you,
yeah.
everybody.
And also, if you have other questions or any difficulties about the exam, just send a message here. We have Mateus. I'll be paying close attention to the valuable tips that will be given. And we also have one question from Mateus also here. How can a threat hunting can be performed based on a defense in-depth concept? Which approach is better in your idea? Inside, from outside, or outside to inside? Good
So
question.
that's a really good question. There's actually two different approaches, right? There is one that you are testing the individuals at company or the department that you're responsible for or what have you, internal, right? When you have all your defense and depth structure set up, like if you are part of what they call a mature company, okay, your best bet is to go from inside out, because if you have the one weak link, like I stated earlier, and that person were to click on a link, that could, all the tens of thousands and the millions of dollars and all the hours and then all that could be thrown away, right, David? So in my opinion, the most valuable test could be from internal out. And you do that by doing your phishing campaigns. You do that by identifying those folks that have clicked on prior links that are considered malicious, right? So, you essentially you come up with a pressure campaign internally where you get their managers involved, okay? And that's pretty much part of the cybersecurity that I have to do. I don't necessarily like it, right? But I have to do it because the thing is, it's like they're bringing so much risk to the organization. So, but yeah, hopefully that answered the question.
Yeah, thanks, Thomas. We also have some crabs here from Ricardo, Bianca.
How
We
do I do it?
have
Like this, right?
we have like some thumbs up, cyber tech acceleration like a muscle, and we also have a question from Mateus. How does CompTIA Security Plus compare to certificates like ISC2 certified in cybersecurity, the Google Cybersecurity certificate, and Cisco CyberOps? I don't know
So
if you know
there,
all of
okay.
them.
This is okay. For example, right? I'm gonna pick on Cisco. If you're very welcome, though, nice to meet you. If let's see here, if we had a Barracuda, which is another company of networking company, and you have all your Cisco certs, okay, and then you end up having to leave, or you end up needing to move, or you want to leave because your supervisor, or there's a lot of different opinions there, and then you're looking and you kind of are pigeonholed, okay, because you only are studying for Cisco. Cisco's a really great company, I mean, that's fine and dandy, but what I would prefer if I were to be mentoring you, okay, how do I pronounce your name? Matthias?
In Brazil, we say Mateus.
Ah, Mateos. Okay, Mateo in Espanol. See that?
Yeah.
I speak Spanish too. David knows that. So, what I would tell you there, buddy, is I would essentially, if I were in your position, I would go for the Google certificate and the ISE squared and your Security Plus. Those are your three, because those are the most generic. Now, if you have those certs and you're going to be hired into a company that is very Cisco oriented, of course, they probably end up sponsoring you for your certificate, which is what I would prefer. And that's some advice that I would tell you there, buddy. Mateos.
Yeah, good answer. Thank you, Thomas. Mateus also have another question. Would you hire someone who has CompTIA Security Plus and a strong GitHub portfolio but no university degree?
GitHub portfolio like what? Let's see if
I
we
think,
said
yeah,
Mateos. There we go. What do
I
you
think
mean there,
Mateus
buddy? Tell
want,
me what you mean.
yeah, because I understand Mateus' questions because sometimes we have like a good professional that develops a lot of tools on GitHub. They share with the community their knowledge. I think that's the main thing that he wants to say.
Okay, yeah, that's wonderful. So, okay, let me tell you what. Okay, and this is what actually I tell my students. You have two individuals. Let me see. I'm sorry, my screen. You have two individuals, okay? One individual has the degree, but does not know how to interface with this new and improved tool that's coming out as of a couple of years ago, AI, right? In terms of publicly, right? AI. He doesn't know how to interface with AI, Mateos, okay? But then you have the guy that has no university degree. He has a Security Plus. He knows how to interface with AI. He knows how to leverage AI so that he is, more productive. He's able to understand concepts more, do research on the fly. What do you think the company is going to hire? I always tell my students that they're going to hire the individual that has that AI experience. Okay, so if you are focused on your GitHub, that's fine and dandy. That's great. Sorry, I shouldn't say American sayings. What I would suggest you do is pick like Claude. Okay, invest in yourself. Pay the $20 or $30 a month. mess around with Claude Code, mess around with a lot of the infrastructure that they have. So that way, when you are really confident, you have that on your resume, and they review it, and they're like, "Oh my God, wow, this is pretty cool." Maybe we could leverage him in our cybersecurity program. Maybe he can come up with an education campaign just like that for us, where it would take us 15 hours or 2 days of work, or what I'm trying to say. So that's what I would recommend. If I were you, I would focus on that there, buddy.
Yeah, totally agree with you, Thomas. Also, Savio commented here. That's so interesting. Mateus say, thank you, Thomas. And the other Mateus is that Mateus. That's cool. I also have some questions for you, Thomas. So, if someone coming from a totally different career can get inside cybersecurity,
Yeah, so we, as me teaching at the community college, right? We have what they call career transitioners, right? They transition careers, and there's a lot of folks that come from the military, and there's a lot of folks that come from the private sector, and they take the classes, and I teach them, and what have you. There is sort of a transition period, but if they were to study for the Security Plus, understand the concepts, they'll for like an intro for cybersecurity, just as like a foundation until they're able to prove that they understand at a larger depth the concepts. Then they'll be fine. We have that all the time. We have, like I said, we have military individuals that are transitioning their careers all the time.
and if one wants to practice it, but they don't have like a job in tech, how they can do it?
Practice
Do you
what?
have, for example, their skills, what they're learning? I don't know,
Oh, so there's plenty of free
labs.
labs, right? What I would do is I would like to challenge the individuals on the call here or on the live to set up a what they call a sandboxed environment, which is can't leave this, right? This box. You cannot leave it. Anything that goes on there, it stays. So if you are able to set up a sandbox environment, and then you are able to set up your own infrastructure, purposely install things that are considered vulnerable, and then utilize again utilize AI to essentially show you how to do certain concepts, then you're a lot more ahead of the pack than other individuals.
Yeah, that's a really good advice. When I started, also one of the things that I did was to download some vulnerable machines from VunHub. It's a good
Boom, there we go.
repository. Yeah, vunhub.com. They have a lot of machines with different kind of difficulty. So you choose one. They have Matrix. They have like Empire. They have like really different ones. So you just download the machine, prepare your environment, and just start playing. So we're gonna test your skills legally with, and that's a really important thing.
Yeah, legally, yeah. We don't want the FBI on my door at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. Good point. Yeah. Another question for you: is cybersecurity stressful?
um, how much white hair do I have? Do you see all the white hair? I know I got a haircut, David, for the last time you saw me there, buddy. I'm kidding. No, yeah. I mean, it can be. I like it. I have a great time. And like I was telling you all, when you like the individuals that you work with, right? It makes a large difference. So, it can be stressful. It can be in terms of, dealing with a lot of the employees that may click on a link and what have you, or install things maliciously, or, download something that's considered, malware or what have you. Yeah, it could be stressful, but if you have a good team, like there's a really wonderful team at CyberX, right? It makes a large difference to work with those individuals, because everybody has their strengths, right?
Yeah.
And so, it could be like somebody like me that does investigations. Another individual on my team doesn't really necessarily know, or they don't necessarily do investigations, but they could take a look at the device, and because everybody could have a little piece of their pie there.
Hmm. Yeah, that's a really good advice because, for example, here at CyberX, we have specialists for each part of cybersecurity. If you want to test API, I have a specialist. If you want to test IoT, I have another specialist, or infrastructure, or anything you want. So I have like different kinds of specializations at the team. We also have one question here also from Mr. Macaroni. As a career changer, I use VMs in my home lab. Would potential employees accept home labs?
So nice to meet you, Mrs. Macaroni. So in terms of utilizing your VMs in your home lab, potential employees. So when you are hired at an employer, right? You don't necessarily transition your lab into theirs. You would be added into their already mature infrastructure that you essentially just are a part of now, right? The home lab aspect is for practice, for you to understand the concepts, for you to not only just read about something, but to actually practice it. And so that's why I was recommending the home labs. So that when you go and you get hired onto a company, a lot of the things that they're going to be discussing, you're already going to be aware of because you already went above and beyond in setting up your home lab, which is really cool. So
Yeah.
congratulations on that.
I understood also the question in a different perspective. I think I understood, for example, you're applying for interview, but you don't have like certifications and this kind of things. If you say during the interview that you're doing home labs, this is also good. This was what I understood from the question, don't
Oh
you?
yeah, of course, yeah, yeah. Just like I was telling Mateos the about his his GitHub, excuse me, portfolio. Same thing, right? When you have individuals on the call, Mrs. Macaroni, about especially the cyber team, if you're able to demonstrate that you're doing a lot of the concepts, they will love that. They will
Yeah.
love it. I'm telling you, they will love it. Yep,
Yeah, totally
that's
agree with
good.
you. Yeah, because you're showing you that you're practicing, you're not just reading some stuff from the internet. Uh, and sometimes during the hiring process, you have like a technical part. So during that technical part, you're gonna know how to do it because you already practice at your home. Some people just they just know how to read those kind of things. They don't practice it. Yeah,
Yep. Well, just like,
and
for example, if you were to read about taking apart a motor in your car, David, right?
yeah, yeah.
Oh, take this part. And I was like, what part am I looking at here? So it's better to, mess around with the motor, have the manual next to you, and that way you can understand about what it's talking about, like physically and via, a book or textbook or what have you.
Yeah, and I remember when I was a child, I used to unassemble my computer, and sometimes I didn't know how to put everything back, and always some screws missing or two screws left, and where I put this. But I was trying, curiosity.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and I also we have one more questions before we finish that. This is a really good one. Is English mandatory for a cybersecurity career?
No.
No.
No, I speak Spanish. No, I mean, think about it. If you were live like this happened in Mexico, right? There are cybersecurity teams in Mexico that speak solely Spanish, and the concepts are just translated in Spanish,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's all. I mean, at the end of the day, it's all postal electricity, and I mean, you could say documento instead of document, and la contraseña instead of password. So I'm trying to say it's all the same thing. It's just translated.
Yeah, I have a different opinion.
Oh, go ahead, go ahead.
Yeah, I think it depends of the country in which you're living and the mindset of the country. Because, for example, in Brazil, everything is in English and Portuguese. We don't see a lot of things in Spanish. Also in Portugal. Portugal is in English and Portuguese. So I think it depends. But I would highly recommend everyone that you must learn English because, for example, if you want to apply for a company outside your country, probably is going to be in English the interview or Spanish. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, English is pretty much global. I thought that you
Yeah,
meant like if they were living in their country, you know. But no, I mean, if they're a part of a multinational company, yeah, no, they're going to be speaking English because, you know, you could, you know, I mean, I live in the United States, but there could be somebody that's from, you know, like Europe, you know, France, and yeah, he'll speak French, and then he would also speak Spanish. I mean, English, Spanish, right? So yeah, I mean, yeah, it's essentially a global language. I was just saying, you know, for the some folks in those other countries that it's translated, but yeah, no, English is a global language. So
yeah, and also some materials we can only find in English. When you ask some questions for ChatGPT or Claude, uh, in Brazil we say Claudinho. If you
Claudine,
Claudinho is like
oh, that's cool.
little Claude, so yeah, I say Claudinho. Um, they answer better if you write in English. So I think that's the main thing. They were training in English. That's why. Yeah, we have the last comment here from Savio. That's a great question. I've seen many people making the transition successfully. Yeah, thank you, Savio, for adding that. So I also heard, Thomas, that tomorrow you're gonna have another live, right? To talk about CompTIA Security Plus, only for CompTIA Security
Yes.
Plus.
I'm actually very excited about that. Yeah, I and like I said, you know, I want to do this because it's something to help out the community. It's the first step that individuals need to take in order for them to be successful in their career. And so yeah, I'm actually very excited about that. That's going to be wonderful, David. I'm, you know, hopefully everybody on the call will rejoin tomorrow, and then we can all have a wonderful time.
Yeah, we're going to be the same time, but tomorrow we're going to speak exactly about the cybersecurity, CompTIA Cybersecurity Certification Security Plus. We're going to deep dive into the concepts, the modules, how is the exam, how, like everything about the exam, everything you need to know. So Thomas will be also answering some questions about the certification, if you want. So thank you so much, Thomas. We see you tomorrow.
Yay! Very nice to meet everybody. They're more than welcome to add me on LinkedIn if that's something that I could you know share. Thomas Mitchell. You
Yeah.
could search me on LinkedIn, and yep, it'll be nice to see everybody. And I will look forward to everyone seeing everybody tomorrow. So we're gonna have a wonderful time.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Thomas. See you tomorrow. Bye bye.
Bye.